My name is Russell Lehmann, and I'm a motivational speaker and poet with a platform of autism and mental health. I've lived a very unusual, difficult, painful life. It's been a hell of a journey, but worth every step. I was diagnosed with autism age 12, even though I showed signs of autism since the day I was born. Unfortunately, it took me and my family 12 years to get a diagnosis, along with unneeded, unnecessary pain and trauma before the diagnosis. Growing up, I had somewhat of a normal childhood for the first 6 to 7 years of my life. I didn't know I was different from, I had friends. I didn't know I was different until my OCD became very prevalent around the age of 7, along with anxiety and severe phobias such as bugs and outdoor spaces and germs. Once those struggles became more prevalent, I realized that my friends were doing better than me mentally. Their mental well-being was better. And so I confided in my mom. I had never told her I did these rituals. I hid them from her. So on some level, I thought, I knew they were abnormal, but for the most part, I still thought this is maybe what kids do. They hide these. Every kid hides these things from their parents. But once I found out it was different, I confided in my mom, and she was pretty worried. And she realized that that's the time we started to seek some support and some answers. Every year after the age of 7, it got progressively worse, and I started very slowly becoming lower and lower. 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I really started to become a recluse, started to pull away from my friends, was having difficulty in school, was having severe separation anxiety with regard to my mom. And I had a somewhat successful schooling up until the fifth grade, age 11. But it was only successful because I put so much hard work into trying to fit in and trying to get by. Again, having an invisible disability, it's very difficult to do that hard work and then go to school and pretend everything's normal, and while nobody really knows how hard you're trying to make it seem normal. At the age of 11, though, I was just overcome with my symptoms. I had OCD. I had severe anxiety. I had social phobias. I had severe bug phobias. I couldn't go outside because if I saw an ant or if I saw a fly, I would completely shut down like a computer and have a meltdown, start sucking my thumb and curl into a ball and would stay like that for hours just for seeing one little bug. If a fly came into the house, well, that was a horrible experience because my house was my only safe zone, and I would usually have to hide behind my mom until she either trapped it or my dad would kill it or move it outside. So age 11, I just became completely overwhelmed with my symptoms. I wasn't doing well, and I really didn't know why. My symptoms were at this point normal for me. They were my everyday life, and it was becoming increasingly apparent that I was very different than other kids, and that made me feel worse about myself because I was wondering why these other kids could, why were they smiling? Why were they having fun? Why were they asking me why I wasn't smiling and not having fun? Because eventually I regressed so far as to be that kid in the corner of the room with his hood on, sucking his thumb, making no eye contact. And people would question why, especially kids, especially my friends, my best friends from when I was 6, 7, 8. They started to say, why are you so different now? Why can't you look at me in the eye? Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you play with me? And I couldn't even answer back. These were my best friends growing up, and I couldn't answer back because A, I felt ashamed. B, because I felt like, to be honest, abandoning my friends like that. Um, and I honestly don't remember a lot from my childhood. I rarely go into the details of my childhood because they're very far back in my mind. I've definitely push them down deep within me because it was very painful. And to, I lost my best friend, lost contact with him at age 11. And I just, for the first time, made my first male friend last year. I went, 18 years without a best friend. And at this point, age 11, I still wasn't diagnosed with autism. And I never received any supports or services other than very superficial talk therapy. Never had ABA, never had a mentor, never had any support other than the love and compassion from my family. It was all on me. The onus was on me to try to figure it out and try to make a life for myself. So in consultation with my family, I was very involved with trying to figure out what the heck was going on with my life. It was just crumbling before me. And I was trying to pick up the pieces, and I was trying to put it back together, and it would just fall apart even more. So at the advice, my psychiatrist at this point advised me, because I was on so many medications. The doctors, they just saw this kid, and this was up in the Seattle area. I grew up in the Seattle area where there should be top of the line medical doctors, and unfortunately they just put so much medicine into me because they didn't know what was going on. So they sedated me. They put me on all these horrible medicines with horrible side effects. And so my psychiatrist, seeing that none of this was working, yeah, I was sleeping a lot. I was gaining a lot of weight. I was becoming very apathetic, but my struggles didn't stop. They decided that, maybe it was in my best interest to be admitted to a psychiatric ward. And I thought so too. I had tried everything. Nobody was really helping me. Went to the top of the line neuroscientists, neurologists, brain scans, all these different tests, and the worst result was always that it would come back normal, because I knew I wasn't normal, and that gave me no closure. All these professionals saying there's nothing wrong with you, when I knew there was something wrong with me, whatever term you want to use, different with me, not usual, atypical. I knew that was the case, and yet all these doctors are returning these test results saying you're perfectly normal, which made me question, am I normal? Am I making all this up? It almost drove me to a point of psychosis, because I couldn't figure out why I was struggling, and that all these doctors seemed to, tell me to suck it up, put your big boy pants on, stop crying, boys don't cry. So, at age 12, I had enough of that, and honestly, I was done. If I knew what suicide was back then, I probably would have contemplated it, because I was done with life.